Hello, my name for now is irrelevant, but you may find what I say worth listening to. If you can't handle free speech, the truth, or an honest opinion, stop here and don't listen. Okay, here it goes. America's strength, longevity, and until recently, its balance of contentment has been maintained through a culture that has a foundation of supporting family values. Now, liberalism, on the other hand, without any foundation, seems to want to not only eliminate that core belief and replace it with a anything goes approach, but also erase everything that preceded it from history, called cancel culture. We are seeing exactly what leftist liberals will do in power. Many leftist mayors, governors, states attorneys in the U.S. are refusing to do their jobs to protect the American people. Replacing some of these people will take time, but there are presently those who want to destroy this great country and, in their opinion, rebuild anew. We are now experiencing what they want to create, which is simply anarchy, destruction, hatred, and racism. Joe Biden, after 4 or 5 years as a career politician, now or very soon won't even be able to make himself a cup of coffee. His VP, Kamala Harris, will be in total control. Harris should not be in any public office, much less VP. There are many very serious reasons why she should not be in public office. But if you care for this country and the future of women, an essential part of American culture, you must listen to the following. Kamala Harris has repeatedly and will continue to sponsor bills that destroys the American family. She sponsored a bill to force youth sports organizations and schools to allow boys who identify as transgenders to compete on girls-only athletic sports teams. Parents, coaches, and athletes know all too well how devastating this one thing will be to women's sports, the future of women in America and American family. Simply, every sports team has a limited roster. Every girl who dreams and works hard to join or make a team may lose that position or option as a result of a male who, by choice, wants to be identified as a female player. Many adolescent to college-level girls will be devastated, losing that option, and as a result, will increase their exposure and possible involvement in drugs, early childhood pregnancy, school dropout, crime, etc., and thereby having an indirect negative effect on their families and siblings. If Kamala Harris isn't aware or care of these possibilities in regard to just this one issue, then she is unfit for any public office, much less the highest office in the land. And if you still plan on supporting this woman, along with her bozo, the bozo that had picked her as his running mate, then you are definitely not a patriot and an enemy of the American family. The liberals are good at show and tell. Show and tell like this cake, this cake with thick icing and fancy lettering they're trying to sell the American people. Inside that cake is nothing more than a cow pie. That's right, a cow pie. Nancy Pelosi's approach is to
let's take a break until after the election. Then they'll really taste what's in it.
You got it. All American patriots need to work very hard in getting our families, friends, neighbors, and coworkers not to vote for Biden and Harris on November 3rd. Now, another issue that some right and left both have issue with are those who desire to idolize the Confederate X flag and Confederate statues. If you are unaware of why many people of both the left and the right are concerned about idolizing these icons, you need to read just one paragraph from a speech known as the Cornerstone Speech. That speech was made by the Vice President of the Confederacy back in 1861 when that X flag was first introduced. After reading it, you understand why many people are offended by that flag. That speech contradicts our own U.S. Constitution. It's treasonable and is very offensive to veterans and people of all races, especially Black Americans. Southern people, like most Americans, are a righteous people. And their way of life, including history, music, dance, food, hospitality, and charm, can continue without the public idolizing of Confederate statues or offensive flags. We need our patriotic Southern brothers to stand with us. But it's important to know some people on the private level, including people of color, still choose to display the X flag and its related statues in honor of sacrifices that all their forefathers endured. As far as the existence of other historic statues, most heroes of history are somewhat someone else's villain. Pancho Villa is considered to be a terrorist in American history, but in Mexico, he's a patriot. If we continue to let others destroy historical artifacts, how far back do we go? Do we take down the pyramids in Egypt or the Colosseum in Rome because people in the past suffered there? I hope not. Some say men like Christopher Columbus, who died over 500 years ago, who they claim enslaved people of many races, including whites, on his historic voyages, should not be idolized. But those same critics don't consider the millions, if not billions, of people from every race, religion, and country that have benefited to date as a result of those voyages and his efforts. Now, in regard to reparations, if my great great grandfather was part black, how much do I get and when? How do I know if he was a slave supervisor, or a slave master? Are there records, license, an ID, or grave markers? Can I get extra because he was also an Irish no need apply person? Should white people or their descendants who came here after the Civil War be responsible for slave reparations and their tax dollars be used towards reparations because of the color of their white skin? Today, twice as many white people are raped, murdered, robbed, and assaulted by bad black people, and then more so than the reverse. So, can those victimized white people sue their bad black assailants or descendants for their possible reparations? Can I also get additional reparations if my great great grandmother was Chinese and worked on the railroads till she died of exhaustion? In the future, will someone burn all our photographs, dig up our graves, and desecrate our memories because in the past, like today, we all profited in some way by purchasing items or services made by those making less than minimum wage, working in slave-like conditions or environments? Racism exists less in this country than in any other country on this planet. The proof is in a group picture of our own U.S. Congress, numerous other public offices, and law enforcement officers. They are all made up of almost every nationality, ethnic group, race, and religion. Like many black American politicians, including President Barack Obama, have been elected to Senate and the presidency with the help of the majority of white voters. Over 600,000, mostly white men, perished over a civil war in this country that was mainly over ending slavery. Where on this planet, in all of recorded history, has one race of people sacrificed so much for another or principle? Contact organizations that help black Americans, like United Negro College Fund and others. Ask them how much of funds they raise over many decades that come from white donors. Twice as many white men are killed by police than black men. And like most of black men, they caused their own death. There is obviously a fake narrative embraced and promoted by the left to grossly exaggerate racism, contributing to the creating even more divide and racism. That false narrative, along with leftist support and acceptance of a self-destructing negative culture, is not only destroying the future for impoverished black Americans, but for all remaining American people. There are those who are behaving like we all should just need to accept this cancerous culture that insists that we all be compliant during this process of destructing itself and our great country. We all experience privileges and hardships during the course of our lives, regardless of our physical capabilities, health, race, age, gender, religion, social status, skin color, education, or income. Get over it and continue forward. Racism is not unique only to white race. All races, unfortunately, have individuals who are racist. So if the media networks and social media outlets continue to openly use and encourage the rest of us to use names like Ken and Karen to describe a male and female white racist, or what they believe to be racist, what names do we use for other people of other races? What is this teaching our children? The adoption and implementation of leftist school programs into public schools, like the 1619 school program, is dangerous and unfair to all children of all races. The leftists are grossly exaggerating, promoting, and exploiting racism. They want to defamate the white race of people that, of course, like all races, share negative periods of actions in their history without notarizing or giving credit to their positive contributions to Western civilization, or saving or improving the lives of billions of people from every race and religion for its introduction of democracy, agriculture, academics, educational, and medical improvements and enhancements for the world's benefit. The leftists' birth, acceptance, promotion, and exploitation of all this anarchy, violence, and lawlessness has and is suffocating our society, forcing the silent majority into protecting itself, creating a civil war. My greatest fear is not so much the leftist extremists causing all this anarchy, but a little more so the silent majority defending themselves with their 394 million legally registered handguns. We all have much to accomplish, but a simple start towards peace would be to simply learn the definition of the word respect. We will never have change or peace without all of us having a little more respect for each other. Respect, starting with the following: respect the law. That includes the police. Most of the individuals shot or killed by police were related to people assaulting police or resisting arrest. Also, respect our justice system. Many of these groups or people are ignorant and act irrational, engaging in criminal activities after hearing misinformation on the media or social media without waiting until further investigation to hear all the facts regarding those cases. Another problem with not respecting the law, relating to protesting. Protests are should be peaceful while using only one side of a pathway or road without disrespecting the rights and freedoms of others needing to use those same pathways. Respect for others' property, public or private, like vehicles, buildings, statues, or other, even airways, not to trespass, damage, or cause a public disturbance. Respect for our flag, its history, along with those it represents who sacrificed life, limb, loved ones, and time in maintaining freedom for all of us, including the freedom to protest peacefully. Respect of the freedom of speech. Respect others' opinion. Respect what they say. And of course, it's not worth much. Freedom of speech isn't worth much if we don't listen. For example, if we don't listen to what I mentioned before, public idolizing of Confederate flags, statues, and names of government and military places shouldn't be tolerated. The respect for cryouts. Our college students who are overwhelmed with serious school-related debt, both parties need to consider reasonable options to lessen and lower those related hardships, or watch the Liberal Party overwhelm our political system and ruin our country. And last but not least, no respect for our parents, who warned us extensively to stay away from organizations with extreme liberal ideologies. So in short, all this mayhem is related to a lack of respect. No respect for the law, resulting in all this lawlessness. Most would refer to this anarchy as animal-like behavior. But I disagree, because even animals don't bite the hand that feeds them. Many people have been silent, afraid of disturbing or upsetting other family members, co-workers, or neighbors. This complacency is exactly why this anarchy has been allowed to foster and grow without resistance. Exercise your freedom of speech and take a stand or grow some balls. None of us is more important than the other. So of course we all matter. Regardless of who you are, where you came from, each one of us is nothing more than just another turd in the toilet bowl of life. So the simple solution for now, to begin eliminating this chaos, is to have a little more respect for each other. And let's start by voting in Lincoln's memory. Let's vote straight Republican in November for a change. We don't need God to show us what side do we need to be on. Just simply ask yourself this: how come so many of these people who are spending resources, time, energy to destroy or point blame are never around when it's time to help those in need? If they were, just think of the good we all could do together. I'm sorry if I offended anyone with this manifesto, but as we parents know, it's hard work being an asshole. If you feel like me that you need a break from all this mayhem and want to hear something completely different, check out my series of interesting topics on my YouTube channel at the Mike Morris Hour. Please click the like and subscribe buttons, or just ignore me like some of my distraught friends and family do. So goodbye for now, and God bless you, your family, and this great country.